wonder after this payback if SmackDown Live is going to benefit from it. Particularly with Jinder Mahal. Finally I get his name right. I can't stand that I keep mixing ginger and gender. It is part of my dyslexia. I tend to do that. Even though I'm thinking about gender, I say ginger. I hate being dyslexic. Sometimes it happens. I just reverse things. Anyway, was this a good show? It was solid. There was things in here that I felt was done well. And then others that was, what? Why? But then I go, oh, okay. I understand why. Do I like it? No, but I understand why. Let's look at the end of the show. The Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ versus the Dolph Ziggler and the face of America, Kevin Owens. Opening of the show was alright. Seeing that Kevin Owens wanted to be part of the Money in the Bank and he had to become a little bitch to do it. Well, he whined about it. And it was Baron Corbin who said it very best. You're whining. Shut up. I always like not Kevin Owens. I always like Baron Corbin for the simple reason he's very no-nonsense. He is. But let's be honest here, ladies and gentlemen. In this match, and it was okay. It was a good match. There was one person that, even though he was doing a good job, didn't seem to mesh very well in the match. That is Dolph Ziggler comparing to Shinsuke, Kevin Owens, and to AJ Styles. It's not the fact that he can't work with anyone. He's a very good worker. It's the point that Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles, and Kevin Owens know each other very well. They wrestled each other for years. They worked in Tokyo. They worked in New Japan Pro Wrestling. They worked in AAA. They worked in ROH. They worked in Stampede Wrestling. They worked wherever, well, before it was debunked. They worked around the world in the indies. So they know how to work together very well. The odd man out was Dolph Ziggler. Now, it wasn't that he couldn't do the work very well, but you could see that he seemed to be a couple of steps behind the others because they know how to handle one another. It's obvious. So in the end, it's Shinsuke getting the pin on the Kevin Owens. And this makes me think. You guys tell me below if you think this is correct. Because of Money in the Bank coming in 1 month, if Shinsuke Nakamura does not win, I have this feeling that he can easily have a feud, a program with Kevin Owens to go after the U.S. title. In fact, it would actually make better sense for him to win the U.S. title from Kevin Owens and then keep it for a while and then go to the world title, than actually jump to the world title scene. To be honest, I would rather see him do that. Not because he's 100% a noob. I'm just seeing it in the respect that you go up the card, you get the opportunity, you really do a good showing with that opportunity, and then you work with the mid-card title, which is the U.S. title. Let him have a feud with Kevin Owens, and I feel like it would be worth his effort. It would be. That's what I want. Next match, which really pissed me off, and I'm going, why? And then it made me think, oh, now I know what they're doing that for. And it's dumb. But I understand the reason why. And that is Baron Corbin versus Sami Zayn. I wish they would stop doing the moniker of the underdog. If he was a true underdog, how come he's winning all the time? How come he's getting a whole bunch of opportunities? How come they're letting the camera love him? Because he's not an underdog. He's not a Finn Balor. He's not a Kalisto. He's not anyone from 205 Live that could easily be considered an underdog, being in the normal range of the card, working a U.S. title, trying to go for the heavyweight title. Anyone in 205 Live would be considered a lightweight and would automatically be considered an underdog. I don't know why. Sami Zayn is taller than AJ Styles. It's stupid. And then, within about 10 seconds, or 20 seconds, I can't be sure, he wins the freaking match against Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin beats the shit out of him. And in the end, he walks away and Sami Zayn is carried off. And you think, why? Why would they do this? Oh, they're trying to get Sami Zayn over as a sympathetic face. I understand the reason why. But when it really comes down to it, it's a waste of time. The person that really is the underdog is Baron Corbin. And Morgan, if you watch this, leave me a comment on what you would do to get Baron Corbin to get something in the U.S. title scene or in the heavyweight title scene. What would you think would be the best thing for him? Because as it stands now, working with a Sami Zayn, who they want to make sympathetic on the back of a Baron Corbin is horrible. I understand why they're doing it. Because they believe that he's popular. The best way to get him over is sympathetic. And it's stupid, but it is the proper way they're going to go. And in actuality, the general fans are following it, which is dumb. Why? Why do you want him as the underdog when he's bigger than any of the people that is an underdog? He's bigger than Daniel Bryan. He's bigger than Finn Balor. He's bigger than AJ Styles. He's actually taller and bigger than Dolph Ziggler. And Dolph isn't a small guy. Let's move on to let me move on to the tag match between the women. Why? And this is what was getting in my head. Why was Naomi not doing anything here? It got me very upset to see that Naomi is just standing around doing nothing. And I know a lot of people are going to say, dude, why are you getting upset? Naomi is champ. She doesn't need to prove anything. She can do whatever she wants. I would normally say that if they actually showed her enough to feel that way. She's a new champ. Her character's gotten over in the last 6 to 7 months. And she hasn't really had much leeway. I mean, she's been beaten down more times than she has been shown to shine. And I want to see her shine a little bit. But you have the Queen and the Fire versus the Welcome Committee of Carmella and Natalya. I didn't really care that much for the match. It wasn't that it was a bad match. I just didn't care about it because there's no real feuds going on for these women. I want to see a feud with Naomi with one of these women, particularly Tamina. I know a lot of people are going to say, why Tamina? She's not worth it. Yes, she is. When the fighting was over and when the match was over and the faces won, of course, you saw them all, and this is the Welcome Committee, along with the other two from the faces, other than Naomi, they all came to Shane McMahon saying they wanted a shot. The only person that truly deserves a shot is Tamina. She clearly stated everybody had their chance and failed. It's my turn. And in actuality, that's what I want. But I want a real feud between Naomi and Tamina. And there's no feuds here. Yes, next week we're going to get a fatal 5-way elimination match for the women. So when Money in the Bank comes, one of those women's going to get the shot. I am hoping for Tamina, but my guess is they're going to make it about Charlotte. Like I said in my last video, Charlotte has worked with the best person you can to get over in a Sasha Banks. Naomi only just got traction in 6 to 7 months, and now she's a champ, a new champ, and she's going to be buried if this keeps up. And I don't like it. I'm being honest here. Now, the Mojave party for Jinder Mahal. It was nice. I actually enjoyed it. Those people who came out are actual Indian dancers. If they're from the back, that would have been sad. I'm hoping those were actual dancers they hired to actually do the work. And it felt like it was because they were very well in sync. They knew what they were doing and they all looked Indian. And it makes sense to have Indians there to make it feel like he's talking to his people. The Singh brothers were by his side. But I gotta say this about Jinder. I don't know what it was about his voice. His voice was cracking a lot. Maybe he was a little hoarse. It's a possibility he was. But it felt like he might have been a bit nervous at certain points. If that's the reason for his voice cracking. My guess is he had sore throat and it came across as him being nervous. So, for him, this must be one of the greatest things he has to be feeling right now. I'm happy for him. And I know a lot of people are going to say, why the hell are you being happy for a jobber? He's nothing but a fucking jobber. I'm going to say this very clearly. The guy's been around for at least 7 to 8 or 9 years. He came out just before 2010. He worked with the great Khali. And the guy, and I'm not saying is incredible talent. He's a great talent that they were not willing to do anything because of 3 people. John Cena, Randy Orton, and Triple H. Let's be honest here. The ones who were the most in charge was a John Cena, was a Randy Orton, and was a Triple H, who is the COO of the company. When you see it for what it is, Jinder Mahal, I said Jinder, along with anyone who is from FCW and later NXT, or anyone even before that who didn't even come up through FCW, who generally did come up. Dolph Ziggler came up from FCW. The Bellas came up from FCW. Alicia Fox came up from FCW. And Tamina and Natalya came up from FCW. When you look at it, all the people from that lineage from 2007 or 6 till now, many of them that are there have been given almost no opportunity. Many women and many men. And when I see Jinder, I see someone who was on the roster for quite a while, went away, came back, and was almost he was doing nothing. Not because he doesn't have potential to be a great talent. They just didn't care to do anything with him because they cared about doing very little storytelling. Now he's a champ. Now I don't know if he's going to succeed or not. But the point is that they're giving the opportunity to someone who has been around a while. If this was Heath Slater from the Nexus, I would be ecstatic the same way. If it was Wade Barrett, I would be ecstatic, just like everyone else, if that was there. I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see they did this. And he seemed a bit choppy. I still believe he might have had sore throat, but it was still effective and it got over. The crowd gave him instant heat. They hated. They cheering USA. They could not stand him. And that is the purpose of a good heel. To get heat. Strong, instant heat. And I'm going from there. Ooh. What the hell did I see? The Usos having not one match, not 2 matches, 3 matches with the Fashion Popo. What? Look, the Fashion Police of Tyler Breeze and Fandango's actually getting a lot of traction. And if you're going to take the benefit of them, they should have won last week. Well, on Sundays last week. That's the truth. They should have won. And the Usos should have came today and beat the living hell out of them. And they should have let them keep getting beat up for the next couple of weeks until Money in the Bank so they can get the titles back. Then that would give them great heat. But what do we get? The Fashion Police have a segment with Shane McMahon. They pretty much... But what? What's that? Squirt guns, a whole box of masks and disguises, and they gave up their badges. It was ridiculous, but it was funny. And I know Deluxe Man doesn't like it, but I did it because they're trying slapstick. They're trying something different. And in the end, Tyler Breeze wins over Jay Uso by a squirt gun. Jimmy Uso gets beat. And then they have the actual match. And I'm going, no, please, not 50-50 booking. Not 50-50 booking. Not 50-50 booking. No. both those two win separate matches but lose the tag match, which is 50-50 booking. That was 50-50 booking at its best. A little sneak in of 50-50 booking. They let the Fashion Police win 2 matches, but in the end, the Usos win the real important match. I'm actually glad they didn't lose this way, but let's be honest. If you're really going to get them while they're hot, they should have got the titles Sunday. The Fashion Popo should have won Sunday. They should have. In actuality, it would make more sense for the Usos, because what are they doing? As much as the Usos are getting great heat and they doing great promos, Jey Uso's promos are getting so good with his brother Jimmy. He's letting him talk more now. Not saying he stopped him, but it's always been Jimmy who did generally the more talking. But Jey sounded great. They are getting traction, but guess what? They should have lost on Sunday, and they will be able to get something even more today and the next 3 weeks going into Money in the Bank. I just felt like the Fashion Police should had won. That's the truth. But this is just my point of view. You guys tell me below, and I hope you enjoyed the Zane view. Please give me a comment below. Look for my pro wrestling guide for newbies. I'm sorry it's a little late. I kept not liking what I was doing. I was not giving the right information as much as I wanted. It's hard actually trying to come up with something to explain to new fans what's out there and what's going on. But you guys watch for it. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.